What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for joining us here tonight for the premiere of the Dead Boy Lounge, a horror movie news and culture podcast that I am starting here with my good friend.
I'm ThirdXTrick.
How did we get to know each other, man? How did this little partnership come to be?
I waited 3 months to be on your other podcast.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been wanting to do a podcast for ever, and you were like all daddy with your podcast, so this was the logical move.
It did seem logical, and I loved it when you pitched me the idea, because it was something that was, I didn't expect it to kind of like right away, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like, okay, I want to just go run with this, and now that we're running with it, I'm super stoked to be here now. We got the setup, we got everything good to go, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started on this shit. Let's go ahead and get into some news. What were we able to dig up on news for our first episode, Third?
This is one of the coolest and like most terrible things I've ever seen about a horror movie trailer. So there was a Peppa Pig movie playing at a festival, and one of the trailers that played before it was a trailer for the psychological horror film Ma. Which, if you don't know, is about teenagers who are partying, and like there's blood and guts and ass and titties, and it's not good. It's not Peppa Pig.
Dead memes. Third is my dad. What's going on? Thanks for joining us for the first show, man. Just glad you're here.
Memes is my boy.
Yeah. I think I was hanging out in your stream last week, and and then I believe. Well, we'll get into this later on as we get into the other parts of the episode. But yeah, we shared an experience. Let's just say that. So yeah,
let me explain this movie to you.
Go ahead and explain this movie.
I'll explain. I want to explain the Peppa Pig movie because I might have like an aneurysm.
Right.
But so Ma is about a lonely middle-aged woman who befriends teenagers and decides to let them party in her basement. But there are some house rules. One of the kids has to stay sober, don't curse, and never go upstairs. They must refer to her as Ma, but as Ma's hospitality starts to curdle into obsession, what began as teenage dreams turns into a terrorizing nightmare, and Ma's place goes from the best place in town to the worst place on earth. It's one of the trailers has a clip of a girl getting her fucking mouth cut
shit, like Glasgow Smile style?
Yes.
What the fuck? And that's what they showed a bunch of preschoolers right before they got to see like their jolly little cartoon movie.
It's like those house scissors too, like the orange handle ones that everyone has.
Yeah.
The ones that like cut pizza and dingleberries off the dog. Oh my god!
Although ours are red, but yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, baby.
Holy fuck! I've never worked in a movie theater. Have you?
Bro, yes, I have.
Have you? How does this manage? Like, this was done on purpose, wasn't it? This was a prank, right?
So like trailers come on like it used to be like all on film reels, but now it's all digital.
Right.
Like they've got these big dick Blu-ray discs. They're like they go into these like 8K projectors. So like someone either like that's the biggest fuck up in cinema, like film festival history, or like some dude was like, check this out.
That's what I'm thinking though. Like, that's where my head immediately goes. Like, someone was just like, hey, check this. Like, someone saw Fight Club one too many times, and this is their version of splicing porn into family films. Like, it was just throw out let's see the most decrepit movie that we can think of that's possibly coming out soon, and just throw a trailer in front of this kid's movie, right?
Bro, it happened twice.
It doesn't happen twice by accident, man. Come on.
Okay, so I'm reading the thing, and it says main trailer for Ma available on YouTube includes depictions of drinking, sexual content, violence. 2 Ma trailers have been rated as suitable for only people age 15 and older. It happened in England, I guess.
Okay, so
they had a trailer for Ma, and there was a trailer for Brightburn.
What?
Yeah, you know, like that little kid superhero horror movie.
Yeah, I've seen that trailer. That's not as bad as.
It's not, but it's still pretty creepy. Bro, that's like,
dude, Dead Memes, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that so very much. Thank you.
Memes, you're such a king.
Hell yeah. And Acid 00420, thank you for following. Holy shit, that's fucking badass. You guys are awesome.
Acid's my boy as well.
It's kicking off the premiere episode right, man. For those of y'all coming in, we were just talking about this news story coming out. As you said, it sounds like it's coming out of England.
Yeah, it said it was a BBC film festival.
Oh, okay. And somehow a trailer for Ma got...
Oh, okay. So the trailer for Ma aired at the Empire Cinema in Ipswich, Suffolk, according to the BBC. And then it happened with Ma and Brightburn at the British Board of Film Classifications. I don't know, man. That's got to be some dude who's like, man, fuck little kids.
That's right. Like, that's someone who got called back in from like going on vacation to go work projectors for a kids film festival. Like, you want me to fucking do what? I was about to go to the islands and get laid all weekend, and you're gonna have me go play Peppa Pig for a bunch of 4-year-olds? All right, I got you, motherfucker. Yes, sir. ThirdXtrick is my homie. Glad to meet you, sick boy. Glad to meet you, Acid. Thank you for being here. So, okay. Well, I don't think there's really much more to talk about there.
We're just going to speculate on, like, the mental health of whoever did that. That's all they're going to do.
We kind of have to. Like, I feel like this article isn't going to go into, like, investigative detail, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
So we really have nothing but speculation to kind of go off of from, I mean, good prank guy?
They've released no names.
No names. Oh, for the love of, oh my gosh. You can't write stuff that good, man.
You can't make it up.
You can't make it up.
Peppa Pig.
Jesus Christ. Those kids will never watch that cartoon the same or ever again.
Okay, so moving on to the next segment, we're going to dive straight into the movie we watched. Dead Boy's going to give us a synopsis of the movie, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper.
Okay, so this movie that we watched is called Antrum. Antrum is marketed as the quote-unquote deadliest movie ever made. The plot of the movie is to rescue the soul of their dead memes. Yes, very much yes. To rescue the soul of their deceased dog, a young boy and girl enter a forest and dig a hole to hell. That's it. That's the synopsis. That is the plot of the entire movie. That is what
he's not kidding. That is the whole ass movie.
That is
and then just shit happens
movie.
Around it.
And there is some weird shit happens around it, leading up to what the reasoning behind. And a thank you, Acid, for the 100 bits. I guess I don't have alerts set up for this particular show very properly, but I am seeing them. So thank you so very much. That is awesome of you. Moving into, okay, the reason why this movie is supposedly called the deadliest film ever made is in 1988, 56 people died in a Budapest film festival when a small movie theater burned to the ground during a screening. This incident follows the inexplicable deaths of a number of film festival programmers that had received Antrum as a submission and died shortly after watching the film. And also there was a riot during an exhibition of the movie in San Francisco, after which the film had vanished. Frightening. Dead memes.
Awesome.
Don't worry,
story.
Third is a bad streamer, so we're used to it. God damn.
Yeah, they're gonna roast me. It's all good.
Okay, so that brief rundown of the movie. Quickly, what did you experience watching this film, ThirdXtrick?
Mostly questions.
Yeah.
It wasn't mentioned in that synopsis, but they talk about the people who were drugged with LSD in the popcorn butter. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. I remember thinking like that had to have been literally so much fucking acid for them to pull that off. Like we're talking gallons of fucking popcorn butter syrup that has been laced with acid, and just all these people are tripping. Lots of people were tripping the fuck out, and I I can't explain what I was really experiencing at that moment. Someone say my name.
Did someone say yeah?
Yeah, we did.
But in the LSD form.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would still recommend watching this movie, but I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite parts about it.
Okay.
And I think you know what I'm about to go into.
I think so, but I'm going to let you do it anyway.
Okay, so at 1 hour and 3 minutes, it's like just shy of like maybe 1 hour, 2 minutes, 55 seconds.
Yeah, somewhere
semantics,
in that gray area,
whatever.
Yeah.
There is a part where in the background you can see the headlight of like a 2010 Chrysler Sebring, which completely destroys the illusion that this movie was made in the 70s.
Yeah, and going into Kamikaze, what's up, man? Love to see you here. Thank you for joining us, dude. I fell for every single bit of their marketing strategy. Hook, line, and fucking sinker. Up until he pointed that fucking thing out. And that's when the whole illusion fell apart. And then like we immediately went onto Google, into IMDb. These actors all have like current fucking resumes. And you can go and watch other movies they've been in where it was made like a year ago, maybe. If that.
The sister was on an episode of American Horror Story.
That's how recent their career goes. Yeah. Like, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh, these people must be like in their fucking 50s by now. And someone actually dug up this movie that turned out to just be a terrible piece of trash. No, it is created.
Yeah, it's not like some exploitation movie from the 70s like you thought. Dude, he bought into it so hard. There was a scene where they're being dragged by these fucking hillbillies. Oh my god, dude.
The hillbillies
might have been my favorite part of that whole movie.
That memes was so strangely fixated on having like this very long, slender penis attached to its stomach. Throughout the entire movie, like that kept being a point of conversation while we were watching it in the Discord server. Like,
they had this giant goat man thing. It looked like it was supposed to be like
dude.
A Satan statue.
Yeah, it was a statue to Baphomet. If you've seen any like death metal cover art, you've seen the goat god statue, the goat god posing with like the hand. I don't know if it's holding like 2 or 3 fingers up or something like that, or if it's like a wave or something. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone's seen that static image before, and they created
Google death metal, you'll see it.
Yeah, Google
It'll
death
be on
metal.
The first page.
Yeah. Any Deicide cover album probably features it at some point.
But okay, so it's like this big cooker essentially.
Yeah, that's right.
And the handle, looked like a big old slender dick.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with him on it. It looked like a dick.
It did. No.
He was just fixated on it being a dick the whole time.
Yeah, there was some fixation for sure. Just fucking with you though, man. That was funny.
Memes will let you know when there's a dick.
Yeah, and there was a giant bronze one that served as a handle for a giant person oven.
When these guys are introduced, one of them is fucking a deer carcass.
Oh, that's right.
Oh man, I feel like I'm cussing so much.
There's just so much going. Like the plot that they served up, like that was literally like every site that I went to try and dig up some sort of like elaborated or detailed synopsis or plot for this movie. That's what turned up every fucking time. But if you watch it, there is so much happening in this film. It's not hard to keep up, but it's kind of hard to kind of keep things in line with what's happening at which point at any given moment.
So if you know the term avant-garde, I think I'm saying that right.
You are.
That's basically what this movie is. It's like psychological avant-garde horror. And it's got this twist at the end that's like kind of cool. I like the movie and I like what it's doing.
I can definitely say with 100% confidence, I've seen worse movies.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
we're gonna talk about
movies, and we'll talk about one that I actually had the pleasure of watching earlier today. Acid says, yes, I wanted the statue they made that state take down. It was awesome. Yeah, there was I think was it Oregon or Washington? I feel like it was somewhere where they actually made someone tear down the statue to Baphomet because of where it was. I mean,
all I know about that whole situation is a guy who got interviewed and he was like, "Notice me, senpai, notice me."
Oh yeah, that guy. Isn't he the same guy that talks about like the incident at KFC?
Yes.
Yeah. And yes, his rants and ramblings are fucking comedy gold. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I could probably watch his shit for hours. But anyway, yeah, it's obvious that they're trying to create like this great experience around this movie, which if you think about it, there's not a lot of independent films that go out of their way to do that. And that's understandable because they all have significantly lower budgets. They don't really have the marketing capabilities to kind of like go out of their way to create something very elaborate and stuff. So what they were trying to do, it was kind of a cool idea.
The hype for it, like there's a documentary before the movie even starts about like how deadly this movie is.
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool. Like that made the movie way more watchable to me. Like more palatable, I guess.
Right.
That's the second time I've used that term today. Not bad.
We have to start a word of the day segment if we keep this up.
Hell yeah.
Dead memes. It's a brazen bull. It's a brazen bull, not cooker. No, you said it wrong. It's called hot trash.
It's not avant-garde. It's hot trash. Gotcha.
Not sure, but it was badass. I love it. Yeah. No, it's always a talking point when you mentioned those kind of images. So it's kind of cool that they used it. It's kind of weird that they used it in the way that they did. But yeah, like you said, I think like it's a very creative way of delivering a film, because when you go to the movie and you just go in for the standard movie watching experience, you sit down, the movie starts, maybe there's like some half-assed trailers at the beginning, whatever. This is like, they went out of their way to go like conduct interviews with people and like really hype up the mystery behind the lost movie reel that had supposedly been gone for, what did they say, like since the 70s, so it was like 30-40 years. And suddenly this guy digs it up.
86 was like the last time it was seen, and then it's been music ever since.
Yeah, it was that 88 film festival in Budapest where 56 people supposedly died, and I believed every fucking word of it because I was just like, this is so fucking crazy. But movies aren't fucking cursed, so like, what are the circumstances behind it? Like, I actually wanted to start going down the rabbit hole of like how the fire actually started, because I knew it wasn't from the movie, but I was still believing like all these things actually happened. Like, I'll admit firsthand, I was complete total like the whole time.
Well, my wife was too. She was so bought into it.
Well, that's the reason we even
after watching the movie. Yeah.
That's the whole reason we even watched it.
She watched it and she came up to me and she was like, I don't even want to talk about it. I was like, you serious right now? Like, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch this now because she's like a horror movie veteran. Like,
okay.
Bro, she was watching Hatchet before people were talking about it on MySpace.
Wow.
Like, yeah, dude, she's a B-list horror movie fucking Navy SEAL.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was
shooketh.
She got too. That's funny.
Yep.
Well, now I don't feel so bad. Okay, so another segment that we have when we're breaking down these films is the 5 W's: the who, the what, the when, the where, the why. We're gonna break it down per just like in each individual little area, where the movie hit it, where did they possibly miss, and just kind of roll from it from there. So we're gonna start with who. Who are we talking about in this movie?
Okay, so the two main, two stars of the movie are Nicole Tompkins and Rowan Smith with a Y. That's like an old money name right there. And they play Orly and Nathan, respectively.
Orly's a unique name. I've actually never seen that one before.
Me neither. Yeah. I know like 16 Nathans.
I know like 100 Nathans probably.
They're all dicks.
Okay, so yeah, they're the brother and sister main characters of this film. They're the ones that we're basically following from the time they leave their horrible, disgusting excuse of a parent mother from their house and to this god-awful journey they go on. Like, I'm still kind of fixated on the whole fact that their mom even let them go in the first place. Okay,
so we have to explain. They're riding home from putting their dog down.
Yeah.
And Nathan is like tripping, like
he's beside himself. He's a typical kid that just lost their pet. Like he was, and
did our dog go to heaven? And the mom turns out like, no, he was bad. He went to hell.
Like what the fuck, like, dude?
Bitch, excuse me? Do we talk like that?
Dead Meme says my fave was the Asian man. We haven't even gotten there yet.
He has a name in this. And Haruki. It's never mentioned.
Right?
Haruki. Yeah,
I barely remember him.
Sakamoto.
So I was supposed to go back and actually do a rewatch of this film because for whatever reason, I was just so in and out. Well, plus one, I got inspired and started making notes for the episode. But two, it was just kind of like in and out because there's just so much happening, and it all feels as like it's delivered a little bit convoluted, like.
Yeah.
So like it's easy to kind of get what's going on as it's happening, but trying to piece it all together in your head, like as a complete and total movie, is kind of bewildering. Yeah, it's rough.
That's avant-garde, man. You have to be like laser focused in to be like, I understand.
Like I didn't even have this hard of a time putting together Memento.
Yee.
You know, like
yeah.
So yeah, there's still some bits and pieces of the film that I don't completely remember, but yeah, go ahead.
The fourth character we meet is Haruki. And so we okay. We'll explain why Haruki's there, but Haruki bring great dishonor. And I don't know how to explain it any better.
No, that
wasn't racist. That's
no, it wasn't. Goddamn. No, we're not gonna start going there. But no. It was okay. Let me see. Okay, there is a little bit more of a detailed storyline here. Let's see if they mention where our friend Haruki comes in. I doubt it. But anyway, Orly takes Nathan on a trip to the Grimwoods, which you so accurately described before we started as what?
It's an Americanized suicide forest.
Which is basically, that's what they're traveling through to go and complete this so-called ritual to bring their dog back to life. Okay, so we did a rough go over of who, so we're going into what is going on. As we've already kind of mentioned in the not so descriptive description, that brother and sister are going to try and dig a hole to hell to save the soul of their dog because their horrifying mother told them their dog went to hell.
That bitch Carol Baskin.
God damn it.
So what they're doing is they're trying to do a ritual basically, and they're using runes to perform this ritual, and they've got like this pentagram. Was it a pentagram or was it a Star of David?
No, it was a pentagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they set up this pentagram in a circle, and they're just digging in the circle, getting to hell. And like the whole movie is set up in like chapters where they dig so much and then they're in a circle of hell.
Oh, right. Yeah. Which that was like, for me, it was giving off kind of like the Gate vibe.
Oh, yeah.
You never remember that movie? Ooh, we should do that one for a future episode, I think.
Oh my God, we're just talking about future episodes. Oh my God.
No, that was a good one. The whole pit to hell thing seems to be a recurring theme for a lot of horror movies, which, I mean, not necessarily good or bad, but I think is definitely getting underutilized.
Hell is kind of like a weird thing to touch around with a horror movie because, like, you can get real campy with demons.
Yes, like almost Doom campy, which is not necessarily a bad thing either, but it works better in a video game format than it would in a movie. Yeah. And I think the closest you can really go into doing like an accurate, and it feels really weird saying this, and I'm probably going to get called out for it, doing an accurate like horror ambiance using the environment of hell, I think is sometimes just kind of is. You have to have the right.
From making a Logan Paul joke, by the way, for the Suicide Forest. We refrained from doing it. We're trying to go high road, and I just got a fucking Twitter message about it. It was a picture of Logan Paul.
God damn it!
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please go on.
Oh, we did. We tried so hard, and now it was meant to be. Apparently,
it was.
Oh, geez, who did that? Yeah, who did that?
Memes.
Dead memes. Who did that? Yeah. Indeed. So yeah, I mean, you definitely have to have the right storyline attached to it. You have to do it within a certain way that it doesn't get like overly religious, because that's not. I don't think it has to be religious in order to deliver a good, scary story behind hell. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, films like The Exorcist are good because they did it in that way. But that only goes... you can only go so far with it, because I think once they've done it, they kind of perfected for the whole, like, religious encounter of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to... There was a movie in the 80s... that did... They did, like, a demon thing really well. Prophecy.
Oh, I've heard of that. I have heard of that. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I think I don't know anything about it though.
Oh my, we can cover that movie later. Oh my God.
All right.
Super good movie. Like, they covered hell and demons and stuff like that really well. I think The Ninth Gate did it really well.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah. That was another good one. Well, that wasn't a horror movie. Constantine was pretty badass, and I'm probably gonna get some shade for that one too. But I liked it.
I love Constantine.
I've seen so many people talk shit about Constantine. It's not even funny. But yeah, it's not a horror movie, so that doesn't count. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see someone do a legitimate horror film inside of hell, or have something to do with hell coming over into Earth, and just make it super scary. And I don't know, like I that's what I would love to see, something like that.
Yeah, it would just be really hard to do because demons are super badass, and people are
OPO.
People are fucking feathers apparently, and just die instantly when there's an apocalypse.
By the handfuls.
God.
Oh man.
Okay, let's move on to the next
so
movie.
moving on into the when this movie is supposedly taking place is around the 1970s. You said it's actually watermarked as 1979?
Yeah, they do that like freeze thing on Nathan at the fake ending.
Right.
And it's like it's got that MCXVIII like whatever thing, and it's like 1979.
Wow, they really went all out.
Bro, they did.
Like, you got to give it to them for really trying to create the illusion of a lost, cursed film.
A lost, cursed film that was found at a estate meeting, or as an estate sale.
At an estate sale?
Yeah, that's where they found it.
Up.
Bro, it's fucking amazing.
And like I mean, we could probably create a whole other, which I almost did, create a whole other episode about cursed movies. And I don't think at any point anyone ever talks about, I just kind of stumbled across it at an estate sale. Or no,
it would have been cooler if it was real, but man, like as soon as we figured it out, well, as soon as I figured it out, I was bummed.
Like there was a little sense of like the bubble getting burst, right? Like, because I really, like, I did believe it, but then after it got burst, I still wanted to believe it. Like, I still wanted it to be real. Like, it created this air of mystery that
you want it to be up there with like Poltergeist and fucking The Exorcist. Like all these people were like, they all starred in it and they all died in fucking AIDS-filled fires with axes, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think there was one of the chicks from The Exorcist actually like got murdered by an ex-boyfriend or something like that, and like the little girl died of like mysterious.
Axe murdered her.
Yeah, and like the little girl died of like mysterious medical reasonings, and there was some like she was misdiagnosed, and they performed some treatment on her that like made her worse and basically killed her. It was like a horrible story. And
the little girl from The Exorcist?
No, not Exorcist. Sorry, Poltergeist.
Yeah, but I'm saying the girl who played Reagan from The Exorcist.
Linda
I believe
Blair.
like something happened to her too.
Yeah,
I can't remember what offhand.
Some sort of accident. I took a bunch of notes on it, and then like I just kind of shoved it in a folder inside of a folder on my computer somewhere. So, but who knows? We may do something. We may do something with that later on down the line. So I mean, if we kind of hit around that time, but like, do we talk about the whole like fourth wall thing? Like, it's not really 1979.
The film is credited in 2018.
Well,
like
gosh
the
darn it.
IMDb page and Amazon are both like Antrum 2018. You're like, bitch, no.
We paid you specifically not to do that. So, I mean, I guess the when that kind of becomes irrelevant in this movie, because that's not really something that delivers the main plot in any way.
Yeah. The when is kind of part of the story.
Right. Well, it's part of the
like
story around the movie, not the story within the movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So this particular movie creates a very weird set of talking points, because there's two different elements that you have to discuss: the story within and the story around. So like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
The story and then the encompassing story. Yeah.
Right. Like the whole the quote unquote lore, if you will, surrounding the film. So that almost becomes another part of the movie and its experience, because they created it to help deliver this whole environment you're supposed to be put in as you're watching it, and supposed to believe that I'm basically about to die once this thing ends. So
I got 48 hours. Better get that bucket list out.
Can you imagine watching this thing? Like, let's just sidestep for a second. Let's pretend this thing is really cursed. You finish the film, right? How disappointed are you?
Like, that it was a bad movie and now I'm about to die?
Yeah. Like, how cheated do you feel after that, right?
That's like if you walked by the room where someone was watching that Ring video, and then suddenly you got the call as well.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You're just walking by, you're like, what the hell's he watching? You watch for 10 seconds and walk away, and you get the call, and you're just like,
what the fuck?
You got the wrong number. He's in there.
I wonder if you could actually pass that off. Okay, no, we're going to get off onto a tangent here.
Yeah.
The next in our 5 W's is where. Now, there is a very interesting talking point because, as you brought up earlier, the Americanized suicide forest. And that's really all we kind of have to go on.
There's a part where a truck crashes, but I don't think they show a license plate, like where it's from.
No, I don't think they do.
It gives off like
either.
a real... we both agree on this. It gives off like a real Oregon vibe.
Right. Yeah, we did talk about that. It does. It does give off like the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, possibly even Washington, maybe. But yeah, it definitely
if it was
gave off
Washington,
some Oregon
it would have been
vibes.
raining the whole time.
Well, that would have made it so much more spooky, man. Meme says, I wish it killed me so I don't have to talk about that movie.
Oh, man.
I imagine some people feel very strongly about this film.
I have like a really conflicting opinion about it, and I'll share that later.
Yeah, as we're wrapping up, we'll share our closing thoughts, if you will, and we'll get into all that. But moving into still around the where, again, does it become part of the main delivery of the story? Like, is it actually an irrelevant point that they had to focus on, or are we cool with just it taking place in this crazy spooky forest that happens to have man-eating hillbillies on the other side?
Well, okay, so without getting into spoiler territory, the forest does become like a part of the plot,
right,
at the end, like the second ending of the movie. I mean,
yeah.
Well, there's a third. This movie has 3 fucking endings, bro. Oh my god.
And we're not talking about like bonus content.
No, it's the whole ass movie.
The whole ass movie.
So they've got the second ending. Like, Nathan has an ending, Orly has an ending, and then there's like the documentary ending.
Right. And that's, we'll get into that after we wrap up the segment. But yeah, the documentary ending was very, very fascinating. So yeah, you're right. The forest does become like the main vessel for delivering this storyline revolving the brother and sister that are going in to try and dig up these circles to hell to save their dog.
Because it's a mixture of a place being like full of shame,
right,
and like full of like fear. Like it's a suicide forest, but it's kind of also hell.
Yeah, it's like a weird cloaked entrance into hell, almost like an invisible portal. Is like, I don't know, without getting too campy about it.
Yeah. When they walk into the forest, they have that sign that talks about like, think about what you're doing.
Right, like it almost tries to talk them out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Which
it
is
almost
straight from the suicide forest in Japan.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
See,
Well, I don't know if it's like word for word, but like.
Well, but no, they have like signs up that warning people away from watching. Oh shit, dude, that's funny. So going into the final W, why?
This will be why does this exist? The first part. No.
Why are we talking?
I really want to talk about this movie because it makes me excited for smaller filmmakers.
Okay.
Who are taking risks, you know?
Yeah.
Not everyone's trying to do that whole like close the mirror jump scare bullshit, you know?
That's something that I can. Okay, now that you bring that up, actually, that's something I can truly appreciate of what they did in this film. It didn't rely on the clutch moments that most modern horror films really try and lean on, with, like you were talking about, jump scares and Jesus Christ, how many fucking modern horror movies are gonna have just naked sex scenes that have nothing to do with the film at all?
I mean, like, I'm not super complaining, but
not really, but I kind of am at the same time.
But it's like, you know, you've seen like 16 sets of titties in one movie. It's like, yeah, just like when you talk about a movie being avant-garde, you're talking about people who are trying to like push boundaries, do something different, make a movie that like you'll talk about in weird ways.
And we're definitely talking about this movie in some weird ways.
Because we hated it and like we kind of liked it at the same time.
Well, I mean, respect for anyone that tries to make a movie and then actually gets one made and like produced and put out there for the world to see. I mean, kudos to you.
This got put on Amazon Prime.
That's what I'm saying.
They did something.
That's where we watched this thing. Like, we watched it off of Third's Amazon account in our Discord server, or in his Discord server rather, and it led into, actually, this is a perfect way to segue into the next segment, because after the film was over, we decided to go and see what other little treasures can we find on Amazon Prime in the horror movie section.
Sub with Twitch Prime. If you haven't gone through and looked at the gems in Amazon Prime Video, oh my God.
It's life-changing.
Dude, it's a treasure trove.
It really is. Like, I mean, I spent, even after we disconnected our call, I spent a good like another hour just kind of perusing titles. But I got circled back on this one that you and I think we just could not let go of. We just kept laughing over and over.
There was like
a
very close second place to this one, though.
There was, and I think we may just have to go ahead and just put that into the next one because it's just too good to pass up. No, not Velocipaster. It wasn't Velocipaster, but we did look at that one and had a very good chuckle about it.
He's been trying to get me to watch that for so long.
Kudos to you for bringing that up, actually, because we may actually have to go and watch that now that it's been brought up in the chat. But no, the movie that we found for our final segment for the show, which is Why Does This Exist?, is a film called Six-Headed Shark Attack. Just in case you missed it, Six-Headed Shark Attack. And there is an IMDb for this movie.
I'm going to find it on Amazon Prime. I want to link it in the chat.
Link it in the chat, yes. And, you've seen this movie? Yes, it's an absolute fucking gem. The brief synopsis they give is, attendees of a marriage boot camp on a remote island have to fight a six-headed shark that attacks the beach. Again, very short, sweet, and to the point, and basically describes the entire film. The beginning of it is pretty... like, when you first... They waste no time into just, like, a crowd of people being eaten by this thing. Like, they get right into the cheesy, like, slasher movie effects, just putting in this crazy CGI monster, and it's, like, going absolutely apeshit, just eating everybody they can possibly come across.
I remember the trailer we watched together. The guy was like, I'm just trying to keep people alive.
Yeah. Oh, there's moments in this movie that it almost feels like they were afterthoughts by the director, Mark Atkins. If you guys want to go ahead and put that into your,
I'm sure he has
search history.
A list of gems.
Oh, and many of them are, shockingly enough, fucking shark movies.
Of course. Sharksploitation films.
Sharksploitation films. Curse you, Atkins. I have no idea who this guy is. I'm fucking shitting on him on our first episode.
People are gonna go kill sharks because you, man.
South Park's gonna make an episode about you, man. Director Mark Atkins brings us this film, and I mean, there's really not a whole lot that you can say about this movie that includes things like artistic or avant-garde or anything like that.
Or good.
But it was definitely, there were parts where it was just very entertaining, and possibly for all the wrong reasons. Like, I got a lot of laughs out of watching the few moments where I was able to pay attention. Because, I mean...
You seem to struggle with paying attention.
I do quite a bit. It happens when you have, 4-year-olds running around and other things going on with the household, and just with the movie going on, and I'm like, oh shit, we got this episode to go and just get prepped for. And so time got away from me and I was in and out. But the few moments that I did see, they were entertaining because they were just fucking hysterical. Like, they really were.
It seems like a movie that's entertaining because it's just so over the top.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely accurate.
Like Tara Reid in Sharknado and shit like that. Like you just throw the kitchen sink and then the bathroom sink and then the fucking toilet too. Fuck it.
Oh, and then they try and break into some science in the movie. One of the characters is actually a meteorologist, and that suddenly plays a part because as they're trying to escape the shark, there's this giant fucking storm that's coming towards the beach that they have no time to find shelter for, except for these fucking decrepit rafts that were supposedly a quote-unquote lab where this thing was created in, which is basically a couple of rafts with a tarp over it.
Fuck it, why not? Dude, why not? Like, this laboratory is made out of 3 canoes.
Yeah, that's basically was their setup. And yeah, there's the marriage counselor guru who turns out to be a piece of shit. Surprise, surprise. No, not a spoiler in any way because it doesn't serve the plot of the movie, which is already kind of loosely put together in the first place.
You can spoil the whole fucking movie. It doesn't matter. You'll still you're not. If you had this whole movie spoiled and you still wanted to watch it, you'd still have a good time because you're watching a circular shark. Attack people.
The way they explain the heads is fucking brilliant. Like, there's this guy who looks like a skinny version of the red-headed wildling from Game of Thrones. The big, like, red bearded dude that has a crush on, what's her name?
Yeah.
He's like kind of like a out of shape version of him.
Gotcha.
And he suddenly puts together that, sharks have this crazy ability of like regenerating body parts. And they did like crazy experiments on this particular shark. And now it just immediately regenerates its head every fucking time it gets cut off. And it does this Hydra thing where every one that gets removed, 2 grow in its place. To the point that now, and guys, yes, there are like 5 other films that precede this one, each involving the removal of one of the shark's heads. And in this one, he actually bites one of the heads off. Like one of its own heads. Just goes,
Jesus Christ.
It's one of those like inexplicable moments that have nothing to do with what's going on in that scene whatsoever. It was just an afterthought by fucking Atkins. It was just like, hey, what if this thing bit one of its own head off? Fucking make that shit. We'll just put it in here.
Wouldn't that be super sick nasty? Throw it in there. Yeah, we'll do it in post.
I look up, and he's just like, what is happening? Oh, dude. And another list of basically undiscovered actors, I guess you could call them. So Brandon Orrit plays William, who is the marriage counselor guru, which, if we're being perfectly honest, the way they dressed, like the way they designed the character to look in the movie looks almost like just this dude who took off possibly with some weird dreams of becoming a pirate and just got stranded on an island and decided to like create this whole weird business out in the middle of nowhere because he's just inexplicable. He really is
Jack Sparrow.
Man, he's just Jack Sparrow out there trying to like, you know, mess with people's relationships and shit. Is like
oh, that's even more sad now.
Like they try to make him very like in every campy movie there's always some ex-military guy who has like a special set of skills. And they almost try to make him seem like that kind of character, but it just doesn't read. It just reads off as like you just kind of ended up here and now you're just bullshitting people out of their money.
Yeah. That there's a character like that, and like there's an archetype for that type of character.
Yes.
The guy who will like ruin people.
Yeah.
In a deserted way. Like, if you've ever watched Bob's Burgers.
Love that show.
Do you remember I don't know if you saw the episode where, oh my God, what's his wife's name?
Linda?
Yeah, where Linda goes on a plane tour.
Yes, he's him. Yes.
Yes.
I know yes, that's exactly who this is.
That's
just without the fucking plane.
By the way. Float plane tours.
Dude, he's that guy without the plane. That's exactly who this fucking guy is. And then, like I said before, they waste no time into just like people getting fucking eaten and killed in every imaginable way possible. And watching a 6-headed shark dismember a human body turned out to be way more entertaining than I thought it would be. Like they actually kind of got some decently talented animators to work on the shark.
I mean, it looked better than I expected. Like it looked better than like the first Sharknado movie.
Yeah.
But it was nowhere near Sharknado 3. Nowhere near.
Yeah, it definitely falls short.
You just got to compare it to every other shark movie you've ever seen.
But like, and that's the thing, because like it is every other shark movie that you've ever seen. Literally all rolled up into one. And like even the ending almost, I mean, it borderlines ripping off Jaws, like down to the fucking air tanks.
There's only so many ways to kill a shark, though.
Especially a mutant
and
shark.
Like, they kind of do the same thing in like Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, you know,
if you remember the ending of that movie
too. Completely forgot that movie even existed.
So did everyone else, bro. I'm the only guy who ever brings up Deep Blue Sea. I swear to God.
Oh, dude, that's
Samuel Jackson gets ate by a shark.
Fuck yeah, he does, man. Oh, Jesus. He probably could have saved this movie.
And it's weird, too, because I feel like he just says yes to every movie that's offered to him.
Why wouldn't he?
Like,
He's made his money. Like, the dude's made his money. I mean, Incredibles probably paid off any, like, other aspirations he had as far as, like, a movie career. Now he just kind of does it for fun. I mean, the Capital One commercials were kind of... Those are fucking great.
I mean, honestly, his audiobook is worth his entire career.
The new one that
Go the fuck to sleep.
Oh yeah, and then the new one, Stay the Fuck Home. So, okay, that is our Why Does This Exist? If that sounds like something that, like, you know, if you're like me and you enjoy bad movies that are so bad they're good, this definitely falls into that category. I mean, just don't, you know, obviously don't expect skillful movie making, but you can definitely go into it knowing that you'll be entertained.
Go into it with an open mind.
Go into it with an open mind, and go into it at least with the comfort of knowing you'll be entertained, which I think we can all agree at the end of the day that's exactly what movies exist for in the first place. So,
and only watch it if it's free on Amazon Prime.
And only, yeah,
don't buy that
definitely
shit.
Don't buy that shit.
Now we're gonna be hated by the.
I was just gonna say,
industry.
I went from like speaking good on it and like trying to save it as like an art form, and then just like totally shitting on it afterwards.
They're still getting fucking paid from those streams. Don't even worry about it, bro. They're still getting money.
Definitely, I'll say this: go watch it while you're stuck inside. If you have a Prime account, go watch it while you're being forced to stay at home. You know, that's definitely a good way to kill some time. So
instead of watching Friends for the 6th time,
thank you. Yeah.
Or Grey's Anatomy for the 15th time,
or Scrubs.
Go watch a shitty horror movie. Or Scrubs. Go watch a shitty horror movie.
Yeah. At least it's something new. You know, something new is almost always guaranteed to be entertaining. So that is actually our final segment for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 1 of Dead Boy Lounge, horror movie news and culture podcast, is almost in the books. So let's wrap up any final thoughts, any final talking points about Antrum, about the experience that we had. I mean, I'll say this. It was pretty cool getting to watch a movie with other people in a Discord server.
You're going to get my Discord server shut down, bro. You keep... I'm kidding. Discord doesn't care.
Discord doesn't give a shit.
There's fucking terrorists using Discord. They don't care. Final thoughts on Antrum, the deadliest movie ever made. Is that the whole title?
That is the whole title. And then actually I was looking at a couple other ones.
Deadliest film ever made.
Deadliest film ever made, parentheses, 1979.
The parentheses on IMDb is 2018.
God damn it, IMDb. Third's a boomer.
Whatever, you fucking zoomer. Final thoughts. I hope that they make more movies, and I hope that they inspire someone else to make a movie, and I hope that this movie inspires current movie makers to do something different. I hope that someone watches this and they're like, that was cool. Like, I hope it sparks conversations. I hope they don't make a sequel. I hope that no one ruins the spoiler for you if you go to watch it yourself. And I hope that no one figures out where that Chrysler Sebring is.
Actually, you know what? We'll do that. If you decide to go and actually watch the film for yourself, and you're enjoying the show either on YouTube or anywhere else that you listen to podcasts, get into the comments. Tell us if you were able to find the Chrysler Sebring inside of Antrum. The first person that is able to get the correct time code will get a free vintage Sick Boy sticker. All right.
Oh yeah, brother.
So the first person in either comments, once this thing hits the podcatchers and shit. So people in the chat, sorry, doesn't count right now. Once it gets posted up on YouTube and iTunes and everything, the first comment that has the correct time code, so you guys are actually getting a jump, will get a free sticker. All right.
See, I've had poops more deadly than that movie.
Same, bro.
What are your final thoughts on this movie?
My final thoughts on Antrum are that it is very refreshing to see people try and take more creative approaches towards filmmaking. The fact that this crew, like the suck egg, god damn it, man. The fact, I mean, the movie itself notwithstanding, the fact that the people went out of their way the way that they did to create an entire alternate experience revolving the film itself is just a whole other step of creativity that filmmakers just don't even think about. And I think it is a very interesting marketing move because it's obviously getting people to start talking about the film. I mean, here we are, we dedicated over an hour to it. And we claim to hate parts of it, but then there's other parts of it that are just actually very entertaining to watch. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, we've seen worse films, you know what I mean? So it's like, it didn't really miss the mark by a whole lot. But in terms of, God damn it, you know what? I just really wanted it to be real. That's another like that's another big final thought that I'm taking from this thing. I just
real.
wanted it to be real so bad, man. I wanted to believe
took Santa, the Easter Bunny, and now
I wanted to believe.
Fuck, man.
But in all, it's a it's a refreshing breath of creativity, and I definitely hope that Mr. Atkins, or not Mr. Atkins, sorry, that was Six-Headed Shark. Who was the director for the Antrum? God damn it.
Antrum was directed by David Amato and Michael Lucini.
Definitely hope those guys continue to make films because I think their head is in the right space. Maybe just surround yourself with some better team members. Maybe just surround yourself with some better, I don't know. Maybe further on down the line, a bigger budget will help them bring their ideas to fruition in a little bit better way. But not bad for a first start if this is their first film.
Not at all.
Yeah. So with that being said, would you like to say anything to everybody before we close out?
May the water never come back up to hit you.
That's deep.
That's a poop joke.
That's a poop joke.
Culture.
Okay, I better sign up before I wake my kid up because this is getting out of hand. But I love it.
Thanks for hanging out, guys.
I love it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We will see y'all again. What is this going to do? Weekly? We're going to do weekly?
Sure.
All right. We'll see you guys, motherfuckers, next week. Until then. It was like getting a fart sucked out of my ass. It was LOL Pog at first, and then it was like, oh, someone just sucked a fart out of my ass. Thank you, memes. Definitely making the show a lot more fascinating.
That'll be at the end of the YouTube video right there. That's like after the outro.
Yes. Where the ending, the little ending cards play over the the last 30 seconds. Absolutely love it.